Well, good evening. We are back in Virtual Pool 4. We're joining the room, and this is the hot seat match tonight, the second match of the double header tonight, and it's between Barkers and Moz, a race to 5. And if you missed the match between Bedhead and Stubb earlier, it's worth watching. Stubb did very well, stole 2 frames with good clearances and pinched the final frame after a battle on the green. So it was a well worth win for Stubb. But this is the main contest, the main event of the evening, between Barkers from England, Moz from England, brackets now in Texas. Good evening. Welcome to anybody who's joining us. But this is, well, we're expecting this to be a classy match. Just a quick reminder as well, the highest break, as far as I'm aware, nobody's told me anything different, the highest break is still by Tony Sam, a break of 103. And well, Moz is actually streaming live on Duffman's channel on Twitch. He's quite content to play and chat. I don't think it's a good idea personally. I think you should have all of that distraction out of the way, but he's quite happy to do it. We'll see if it pays off. And he's in already at the start of this frame. Good evening, Albie. Well, I should be on Twitch. I should be streaming to all 3 channels unless there's a problem. It should be up and running unless there's some sort of issue. Let me have a quick look. Just give me a second, guys. No, there's no problem at my end here. Everything should be working on Twitch, and Ross is on Twitch. I think you need to refresh your screen on Twitch. It should be up and running. Anyway, back to the match. This is a promising start for Moz. I think he's still on a 147 here. 4 reds, 4 blacks. Now, I've actually got Duffman's channel. I've got his live stream on my second monitor. So if there's any problems with buffering for any of you guys, let me know. If there is, I'll shut that down. I'm just keeping an eye on what they're doing. And Moz taking his time here because he does have a red, either the long red, looks as if he's going long, and he's missed. Now Barkers, well, I think Moz has got away with this. Well, he's got the thin cut into the middle, just a 1 red in the open in the middle of the table, and well, Barkers was looking, but that break of 32, well, it's a good start, but look at the way these reds are. And it's going to have to be a long pink, I think. Yep, it's not. It's not easy. Yeah, any latecomers, as I say, if you didn't get a chance earlier on to see the match between Bedhead and Stubb, it's worth a watch, because I was very impressed with Stubb. He played very well. Bedhead made a couple of mistakes, and it cost him big time, losing 2 frames to good clearances by Stubb. I think it was 270 odd breaks he had, and well, that's the sort of stuff that you're going to have to do if you're going to survive in a tournament and put your name in a hat to have a chance of winning this thing, because this guy that we're watching now is a strong favourite in my book. Now to see whether he can respond. These reds, they look nice, but they're not that nice, if you know what I mean. I mean, they're space, but they're not good for potting. Something's got to move here, or you're ending up having to take long reds into corner pockets. There's 2 reds in the open, the others are awkward. Now this is what I mean. Barkers is left with this long red, or can he get the one in the middle? Well, he can get the one in the middle and he'll stay in the black. He's looking at his options, but that's the red to play for if he's going to hold on the black, but he's looking up the table. Well, this is a bit of a strange choice of shot for Barkers, and he's missed a red, and why he wasn't confident enough to take that red into the middle, because that's the obvious shot to make it easy to get on the black. I mean, it was a cut across the table, but it was the shot, and the break ends on 15. And well, this is the type of thing where Moz has to really capitalise here, and if he can get another 20-30 in the board. Has he gone far enough for the black? I think he has, just. Now he needs to go round top side of the pink and beyond to get up to here. I'll get my line working a bit better than that. Up to here, or if he goes too far across this way, he'll have the red in the middle. That would be the plan. Well, Bedhead had a 45-point lead. What frame was that? And I mean, he played the attacking shot, potting the black, trying to force the cue ball into the reds, and he ended up getting on a red. He missed the black, whereas if it was me, I would have been running for cover. I'd have been playing a good safety, putting Stubb under pressure, and well, you know, you live or die by that one choice. But in the end, Bedhead lost 2 frames to good counter attacks by Stubb. And I think you've got to play it really tight, and when you get a lead of 45, if you stick your opponent under pressure, of course the best way to put them under pressure is to keep potting balls, and I think that's what Bedhead was desperate to do, but he should have run and hid, and he didn't, and it cost him. But Stubb was impressive in the way he pulled out those runouts. It was well done, and that again just makes a statement that he's dangerous if you give him the chance. But back to this one, Moz back at the table, Barker's first visit only getting him 15 points, taking a strange choice of red in my opinion. I don't know why he decided to go for the long red, bottled out the proper red into the middle to stay in the black, wasn't confident enough to get it, and well, Moz has now got a healthy lead. And I don't know whether Barkers has actually ever seen Moz play or has kept an eye on anything that's happened in the tournament. It doesn't strike me that he has. But he's soon going to find out that he can't go missing. He can't go leaving Moz chances, because he's going to score. Now that needs to keep travelling. It's not got there. Now Moz has a healthy lead. It's a break of 30, but there's still plenty of points in the table. Now he's looking to find somewhere safe here, and this has got to be careful. Still 67 in the table, and these reds are spaced well now, trying to drop behind a black, and that is an excellent shot. That is much better touch than what Bedhead and Stubb were finding. Immediately Moz has found the touch and the pace. Those guys were just hitting things a wee bit too heavy. But this is tough on Barkers, because it's actually so good it's touching the black, and so he's going to have to go to the rail, try and roll dead onto one of these reds to leave nothing for Moz. And that's the way to put your opponent in trouble. It's got to be a dead weight shot, and probably, well, you would look at that sort of shot there just to sort of roll, hit that ball half ball and try and roll towards the pink, but gentle, and then you shouldn't leave anything on. And that's exactly what he's tried. Just missed the edge of the red, and he may well be put back in, because I don't think he's left anything simple and easy here for Moz. Moz is looking at it, but he's given Barkers a second chance, so just a slight adjustment and he'll get the shot I'm talking about. Just hit that red top side, just a little glance and blow, and he should be okay. Well, let's have a look. I think he is. I mean, it's what's left is tough. Moz may well have a go at this, but he'll be running for cover at the top end of the table. That's a good shot. Always the safety element part of it, getting that cue ball into bulk, and now he can put Barkers under real pressure now. So Moz has a 52 point lead, still 59 in the table, but he could nail Barkers in behind the yellow here. Probably not worth actually trying to do anything here, because you can't get on a red here, really. You've got to try and lock it up. Well, Well, I was getting all set to watch that Ronnie Tep Chayun new match, but the time I sat down it was over. Well, that will do. That will do very nicely. And Moz has started off in the right frame of mind here, doing all the right things. Now it's a two-railer around the corner. Well, he's trying to swerve this. That needs to bounce, that red. Where's the cue ball going though? Oh, I think he's got him snookered behind the knuckle. Certainly on the open red. Let's have a quick look. Well, Moz, this is a bit dicey. He has to get this dead weight, because obviously that red's in the open, so that's the one he wants to cover. So he wants to just brush that red and nudge into the pink and leave nothing. Little soft run to there and just brush the pink and you'll be safe. Because this is a danger ball. This one here's the one you want to cover. There's some good semi-finals to look forward to. The two tables will be getting stripped down right now at the Crucible. The partition's getting taken down, and then they'll nominate one of the tables that's going to be the match table, and then reconstruct it through the night. Change all the lighting rigging, because it has to be centred. Get rid of the other lighting rig. I mean, it's a big job for those guys, but they're used to doing it. Well, Moz has gone a strange way there for a safety. I don't know why he didn't play the shot I was talking about. It's a simple enough roll up. Okay, the three reds are still locked up, but Barkers has got ball in hand in the D, and he's certainly got a chance to pot the red, but he's actually studying the table right now, and he's decided to put Moz back in. Now Moz this time may well try what I'm talking about, because I don't see any problem coming about from this shot other than just nudging into the pink with a little glance off the red. But he wants to try and hit this open red. Well, he's got the hit, and he's got it safe. Well, his choice of shot worked out. Whatever we say, that has worked out very nicely indeed. Yeah, well, I mean, it's not the same. I mean, it's like any sporting venue. I mean, the football's embarrassing listening to false crowds. You know, dubbed on crowd effects and all of that stuff. But you do have to have a bit of atmosphere there, and the guys thrive in that as well. Although Ronnie's not bothered, he's quite happy because he doesn't have, you know, most of the players will admit they don't have any distractions. They can't blame anything in the crowd. They can't blame somebody moving. You don't have the annoying mobile phones going off. You don't have the obligatory drunk guy getting thrown out. You have none of that stuff, but as a spectacle it's ruined by not having the crowd there. More importantly, what about the poor people who bought their tickets a year ago. What the hell's happened to them? In fact, I thought there was talk about the fact that there would be a review in the situation and that there might be still some audience at the final. That's still to be reviewed yet. You know, like a third of the normal crowd, like 300 people or something, but I haven't heard any more about that. Well, anyway, it's a tall order if Barkers is going to pinch this frame, but he's going to have to produce the goods big time, the way these reds are situated. But he can certainly use the green, the brown and yellow here. I think he's maybe got that dead weight. That looks good enough to me. Oh, he's just sneaking out. And of course, remember what I say, check where the balls are going to go when you hit these. And certainly there's a red very much in line to that pocket, but the actual plant isn't on because of the distance between the two, and Moz can't get to the main red. So he has to get this thin and soft. Well, Selby's playing that, you know, granite type of snooker that he's renowned for, and if he keeps that up, he's well within a shout of winning it. But I think that Kyron Wilson, well, he's I wouldn't say he's been the best player in the tournament. It's difficult to judge that, but he's certainly, when you look at him at the table, he's full of confidence. You know, there's no, I mean, the guy's played a match there. He's had what, 23 shots with the rest, not missed one of them. Very good and confident in the rest, and he's got no fear, and he's got all the ability. So he's got another couple of hurdles to overcome if he's going to win it. It wouldn't surprise me if he won it, and he'd be a deserved winner of it. The only thing that would worry me about what's his name, the Scottish boy, is that he doesn't score heavily enough, and that's the biggest problem. You know, he's in over his head now. Now that he's got to the semis, and he's not scoring heavily enough, often enough to be maybe that to compete at the highest level. That's the problem. A lot of the, I mean, Ronnie said, I saw that interview with Ronnie, and a lot of people are criticised him, but the guy, I mean, I tend to agree with Ronnie. When you look at the lower ranked players, and these are professional players, there's guys go the whole season where they don't get a century break. So that tells you that their level of game and their control is just not there compared to the top guys. As soon as you look at these guys outside the top 16 and beyond that, I mean, Martin Gould had made, I think he'd made 1 century all season, and he's down at 50 odd in the rankings. He'd made like 1 century all season, albeit he's had his off the table issues, as was said, but he comes to the Crucible and he gets 3 centuries at least, and whatever else he made after it. But any guys down in the 50s and 60s and down in the 90s and 100s, I mean, they're nothing more than good amateurs. And Ronnie's right in what he says. The standard, and he's also right in what he says, that's why John Higgins and him and Mark Williams are still at the top of the game, because the class is pretty thin in the ground at the high level. As soon as you drop off that high level, you know, they're ordinary pros. There's nothing that you'd get excited about. And he's true. He didn't say a lie. You only need to go and look at the statistics to prove that. all these soft-hearted people who know bugger all about what they're talking about, they haven't a clue. They think he's just been nasty to the other players. He's just telling it like it is. There's just not enough good talent. Well, I mean, they're good amateur players, but that's about it. How the hell they're going to make a living out of playing the game is beyond me, once expenses are paid and all that stuff. But that's why you've got players like Sullivan, Higgins and them all still up at the top of the game. You know, the way the tournaments are set up now, these guys lower down the rankings do have a chance to make a few quid. Oh, we've got a little break in proceedings here anyway, while we're chatting away. Yeah, of course they need to have a part-time job, because they have to have something to fall back on when they fall out of the actual the pool of players. You know, if they're not earning enough, they'll drop out, they'll drop off, and they'll have to qualify again. So they have to have something to back them up, because most of them will have families as well. So they've got to pay the rent, the mortgage, you know, get food on the table. So it is a tough profession to choose. But it is. These tournaments that they have nowadays, where it's like the best, you know, the first to four in the early rounds, that's where they have a chance against these guys, and they can earn maybe a few quid, maybe, you know, a couple of grand if they get a good run. But there is very little in the way of good consistency in those players, which is why they come and go. Yeah. And I'm surprised Jimmy White hasn't announced his retirement, because he's in there just making up the numbers when a young boy should be coming in and filling his place. You know, he's overstayed his welcome, Jimmy. I think he should pull the plug. But anyway, Moz in trouble here. These three reds are now all potable, provided that first one goes. Now let's have a look at these two. Yeah, if that first one is out the way, then the bottom one goes, and then that frees up the other one. So there's still a glimmer of hope here for Barkers, albeit a slim one. And that's not got the line. Now we have a choice here. Barkers has nothing on, so might as well put him back in. Well, he's given it a lot of thought, but I don't think there's a lot to think about. Just stick him back in, give him another go. Maybe he's actually gone again. Maybe Barkers is having problems. We might get the message pop up in a second. Ah, right, that could be the problem. Yeah, if there's big electricals going on, he may well get the chop. There's a lot of heavy weather down south. Big bad thunderstorms moving in from France. Big humidity as well. I don't know where Barkers is down south, but you know, the further down south you go, the worse it gets. And some big heavy weather in and around central and southern England, according to the forecast not only tonight but over the next day or two as well. So that's bound to boot the connections. Well, his cues finally appeared. So here's hoping we don't get too much interruption here. Yeah, finally we've got the foul and miss being taken up, and Moz just needs to adjust his line slightly. That's a bit too heavy. Well, he'll be glad he didn't hit them, because he was actually a bit too heavy. That's too heavy again. Is it? Yep. Well, the points are coming down. There's only 36 in it this time. And same again. Yeah, my club closed down 10 years ago or more. There's one club open in my town. That's a much better effort. But has he left it? Yes, he has. Now here's the chance that Barkers has been waiting for. All the reds in the open. He's having a look, but there's no doubt he'll be playing from here. Now, just a quick word, guys. I presume that the stream is running okay, because I've still got the Moz stream on my second monitor, just in case it's eating up bandwidth or anything like that. Where's Fast Eddie's? I've never heard of that one. No, I can't even remember the name of them. In fact, the only club, there used to be 3 clubs in Kilmarnock. The Pyramid one is the one that's still open as far as I know. The one up at the railway arches, up at the railway station, or just up from the railway station. There used to be another one, I can't remember the name of it, but it was too bloody expensive. Which ended up being a bowling alley. I can't remember what it was called. It was too expensive. And then there was the one I was in, which I've even forgotten. I mean, my club's been shut down that lot. The Big Break. There was actually another place opposite the Big Break, which was actually an amusement arcade, but they then, although they still had the amusements in it, they then had 3 snooker tables in it. And I can't, was it something, it was called, I can't remember what it was called, but I'll tell you, when it opened, they had an opening day, and guess who was booked to turn up? Alex Higgins. Alex Higgins turned up. I got his autograph, and I've still got his autograph lying around the house somewhere. I've lost it, but I got an autograph of him, and he turned up, and he played a couple of guys in that venue that opened, and then he then went across to the Big Break and played one of the old guys in there who beat him. Well, Barkers has made a right hash of that, and that'll be frame over here, I think. I don't know. He seemed to struggle to find a line to pot that red. Where the hell was Hanson's? Are we talking about in Kilmarnock? I've never heard of that one. Oh no, wait a minute, I know what you're talking about now. That was up the stairs, wasn't it? Aye, there was the one down the stairs, and then there was a place that opened up the stairs for a short while. You're right enough. I was never in that place across the road. Well, back in the day, I used to. I mean, this will show you how long ago it was. I wasn't working at the time, and so what I would do in the morning was, I couldn't even afford a bus fare, because I would walk all the way down. I stay at the top of Kilmarnock, so I'd walk all the way down the town, which is like 2.5 miles, and I would go to the club as soon as it opened at 11 o'clock, and I'd be in there, and oh well, Moz has missed the black. What's the score now? 45 in it, 43 still in the table. Now that red's in a great place for a snooker, but it's the only red that's potable. And I'd be in the club from 11 o'clock, and I'd be out the club after midnight when it shut. That's what I used to do. Yeah, that was the days. And then of course the back went, the eyes went. Yeah, I played snooker for a good 20 years, so I did. I was never any good at it, but I just enjoyed playing it. Started off playing in the the pub table, and then moved on to snooker. Well, Barkers has potted a red. What did he take as a colour there? Because I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy chatting. What's he on? He's on 39. And of course that red that he potted was the one that would have been ideal to keep to try and get a snooker, because the only problem was he couldn't get any real pot in this one. What's that one in Glasgow as you go into, is it not the Reardon Club? Is it still there? The one in, is it Kilmarnock Road in Glasgow? I used to pass it when I used to get the bus into Glasgow. It's been there for a good number of years. Yeah, the one in Kilmarnock Road is the one I used to pass. Well, that needed to be tighter onto the brown, because this is an easy hit for Moz. You've got to get that. In fact, don't you think it's a snooker? Not really. So 30 points in it, 27 left in the table, and this frame is still not over. Well, a good try there, but a shot to nothing here for Moz. Play the cut in the yellow. Cue ball's going to be coming back down the table, but the main colours, the brown, blue, pink and black, all being in their spots, is a good line for a snooker. Well, yellow's left hanging, and Moz has got the cover, so it's going to be a swerve around the blue. Left hand side of the blue is the safest option, because you won't scratch off the yellow, but if you go the other way, oh, he's left himself in another snooker. Well, this is going to be the old hit and hope. He needs a bit of luck, and I think he's okay. Yeah, snooker's the snooker clubs had their peak during the 80s. They were springing up all over the place. I mean, to be honest with you, even in the big break, we had how many tables were in there? The big break snooker club only had 3 tables, and it had about four or five pool tables. They were just pub tables, and it was the bar that paid the running of the place. It wasn't the snooker. Back then, if I remember right, it was £1.50 an hour. 50 pence for 20 minutes for the light. Was it the Q Club? I'm trying to remember the name of that other place. Cannot remember the name of these places. Well, the miss and the green, still 30 points in it. The difference now though is, sorry, not 30 points, 28 in it. It's still only 25 in the table, so 1 snooker required. Black now off its spot. I think that's half the problem with snooker clubs. They need to get a good foot flow through them in order to pay their way. I'll never forget the night that it was a Friday, and there's this guy. He was a labourer, and he's every Friday he'd get paid, and he'd come in and he'd spend a fortune in the Bandit, the fruit machine. And it was like, in the private snooker clubs, it was like it was £100 jackpot. And I like a little gamble now and again, and I sat at the bar nursing a pint while this guy was coming back and forward to the bar to get change of a tenner to play this fruit machine. And this is a true story. So he was there for a goodness knows, an hour, 90 minutes. And he would win the odd thing, but he wasn't winning big. So we've lost Barkers again. This electrical activity causing problems. Anyway, so he finally up sticks and decided, well, he better go home while he's still got something of his wages left. So I claimed it. I was next in line, and I went over, and wouldn't you know it, couple of quid in it, bang, jackpot. Right, drinks are on me, guys. That's the only exciting thing that happened to me in the snooker club. I won the jackpot. Thank God the guy was out the door at the time. Thank God he had left, because he'd have been well gutted having watched me just go in with a couple of quid and win it. Well, this is still only the first frame, and we could have a few more of these. I just hope Moz has got the patience, because if there is a lot of heavy weather going about. The thing is though, regardless of that, There's still I presume a 10-minute timeout for Barkers to get back in the room, or this could end up a real disappointment. I don't want that to happen. Let's have I don't know whether you guys can hear what's going on here. Hang on a minute.
Weird thing where they used to sell them at the venue.
Oh yeah.
Just on the day, and then it was like public sale the day after.
Can you guys
Pretty
hear
makes
this?
sense because like 99% of people in the country like forget snooker exists.
Yeah, actually, they won't do the in-person one, though, will they?
Sorry.
They won't do the world. They won't do the world championship. They won't do the in-person ones.
Well, that's Moz and Duffman chatting away.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So what's the sitch for next year?
Well, this could
I
end
don't know
up.
what's going to happen if he disconnects, because
I'll tell you
I
what
mean he
happened,
can
Moz.
rejoin and we can probably reset the match, but I don't want to give away this frame and start again.
Well, I was going to say, what happens?
I'll end up in a forfeit.
Usually, it doesn't happen in an awkward spot like this. I've only seen it happen a couple of times.
Right. Well, it will unfortunately end up in a forfeit, this, if it goes to the 10-minute timeout. There's nothing can be done about that. I mean, this isn't just a disconnect, this could be a power outage. If it's a power outage, he's gone and he won't be back. Well, according to his flag, he's from England, but you'll know as well as anybody, Pop Man, that there's a lot of bad weather down south moving around. And I think we're already at least up to 5 minutes here. Well, I think you'll miss the worst of it. It's mostly central and southern and sort of the Midlands that's getting it. And I think it's pretty much on and off through the night and then building up tomorrow again. Well, there's certainly been nothing up my way. We had a bit of rain this morning, but that was it. I mean, it was only a spit. It was damp, but you had nothing. We had no thunder, lightning or anything like that going around here. This is looking bad. There we go. It's a forfeit. So here endeth the stream, guys. That's disappointing. Let's have a listen into Moz and see what he's saying about it.
I mean, could they award you that frame and start off?
They could do, but I don't know if Barkers will be happy with that.
You were winning.
Yeah.
Right, well guys, it looks as if this won't be resolved. I mean, strictly speaking, by the rules of the game and the rules of the tournament, Barkers is forfeited by whatever means it is, power cut, whatever. The match is over for the time being, so that's the biggest disappointment of waiting up this amount of time for this to happen. Whether or not there'll be an agreement between the two of them, yeah, that's the ones that are, you know, that what they're doing is they're coming up. Any storms like that are coming up down south and going up the sort of central and eastern side, but nothing near me. But anyway, as I say, it's up to the two guys. I'm sure Moz doesn't want to win like this. Whether Barkers wants to arrange it for another time, probably a time I won't be able to get it now. It'd be good if it was tomorrow night, because I'd still be able to get it, but if it was late on tomorrow night, I couldn't, because I'm back at work. Anyway, we'll need to pull the plug, guys. Thanks for your company. Sorry about the way it's ended up. That's out with all our control, and well, we might see you again soon, whenever that might be. So take care, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon.